the International Women's Day was officially celebrated on the 8th of March with the theme Each for Equal, as women increasingly fill roles in public and private sectors which they prior to now were not represented. I have live in the studio with me, Ngova Nwankwo, the head of coverage at Rand Merchant Bank. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You are welcome. It's my pleasure to be here.
Happy International Women's Day once again.
Same to you, Irene.
All right, definitely. In terms of women representation, particularly in the business and professional strata, what have you seen? What have you observed?
So interestingly, Nigeria is one of the countries in Africa that's actually doing better. So if you look at the McKinsey report that was published late last year, it ranked and looked at women and gender equality across several indices. And with business in particular and work, formal work, we saw that Nigeria was actually rated one of the better performing nations. So we have a lot of women in entering into businesses. We have women in corporations, women who are working.
And how do you think women are increasingly having, do you think they are increasingly having a voice within the society?
So I think that's where the statistics is important to then look deeper into statistics.
Of course.
So typically you find that it's a pyramid. So at the bottom of the pyramid, entry level, you see almost 50-50, and in some industries, even slightly more women than men. But then as they go higher up and you get to sort of middle and leadership positions, it becomes a very steep pyramid. And we're finding that women in leadership positions in the corporate world accounts for less than 16%. So there is a lot of work. We need to find ways to support them. And clearly they're not having it easy, because if they were, we'd see more women at the top. So that's where the problem is.
I mean, you've been in the financial sector for well over 17 years and have not we would not suggest that you're still within the lower bit of the pyramid. What are those things, what are the mitigating factors that you see women usually struggle with to get to that position?
So there are internal and external factors. Okay, I'll start with the external, which I think we can do a lot more around. So it's around, are we recognizing women and their contribution within work? As women go up the curve, they have pressure from external factors. They're getting married, they have children. Are we creating the right environment to allow them to go off, come back into the workforce? Are we providing them with the right amount of care? Are we making sure that they're not being discriminated against and that it's a level playing field? So those are the things that companies can do better. I think internally as well, there's a self-belief. There's the belief of, I'm not sure I'll get there. I'm not sure I can get there. Should I? It's a trade-off between my family and work. Do I really want to pay the price for it? And so I think there's sort of inherent beliefs that we have that maybe we're not good enough, maybe this is not where I really want to be. And there's a lot of work around how do we mentor women, how do we help them to deal, because they're real issues. So we need to help them to see the solutions to the problems and to help them stay in the game.
And finally, before I let you go, have you seen enough enabling policies within these organizations to help these women at least come back when they probably go for things like maternity leave?
So we're seeing some organizations doing some really amazing things, increasing maternity leave, for example, giving women flexible working hours, but it's still very few and far between. We need to see more people doing more. We need to have policies that are not corporation specific. So we need to have benchmarks and targets that encourage companies to have more women in leadership positions. That way they think about why they're not there, and then they find out more, and then they do more. So there's a long way to go, but it's a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. It's my pleasure.